I don't want to introduce you. You tell me why you're sitting here. Why do you think that I decided to start this project with you?
As a patient and, someone that has been in the hospitals and in the health system recently, I guess that's why I'm sitting here.
How do you feel now? You good?
Yes.
Life is just like...
Getting there, yes. I'm still in the process, so it's not finished yet. I have another 2 surgeries to go. So everything is kind of like happening right now, but the main parts and the hard parts are now finished. So I'm happy about that.
We are sitting here to talk about communication in healthcare. Both of us coming from a different country, residing here in Australia. Both are citizens now. Both are having a good community around us. We're talking in Farsi when we step out of today. But have you ever been in a situation that you feel, I wish I was in Iran or something?
I mentioned to you before as well, like I had a good experience during the process, but definitely not having my parents around was my main concern. If I was back in Iran, I had the whole support. Although I have family here, still like your parents are different. The first day I was like, oh, my mom is not here, or my older sister, or so that was the main thing that I felt. But then in terms of like the process and going to the healthcare system, as a Persian, I think most of us are the same. I have like Iranian GP, I have Iranian specialist. So I try to avoid that language barrier as much as I can, but it's not always the case. There are lots of people that we have to deal with. Like my oncologist, she's not Persian, and lots of tests that I had to do. I had no idea what I'm doing. Like I was hearing a word like, you need to do this test, and I'm like, what's that? What should I do? I was just trusting that my husband is here to remember these names, these words that I've never heard of. And lots of very names that are in terms of like body parts, things that I have no idea what they are. And I wasn't in the mood to ask or think about it. And I was just, I had my husband everywhere with me in every single appointment. And one of the main reasons was for me to trust that he's remembering things and I don't need to do that. And I go home and we sit, okay, what should we do? And then we search online and then, okay, that's what we need to do. And that's this and that's that. So a lot of times, especially at the beginning, as long as you go and you do things, you learn and you get more comfortable. But at the beginning, this was very hard.
Which I believe the beginning of this type of process and health condition is the most important part, because
exactly, that's where you're more stressed. You have no idea what's happening. You're scared and you're super emotional. You're not yourself. And at the same time, you have to deal with all of these new things as well. And they're all in another language. And it's kind of frustrating or difficult. And you just learn as you go.
Now they're past.
Yes.
And you have learned a lot during the entire process in the last year and a half, I believe. It is really hard to go back and think about everything from the beginning because you are not the same person. Based on your experience, when you just remembering those days, what would have been changed to giving you the better understanding and better,
Yep.
to have a better experience, let's say?
Probably that would be good. Like, I know there are lots of brochures or, things everywhere for you to read, but they're not complete. They're not really sufficient, I guess. Like you just hear things, and you don't have any background about it. You just go see the doctor. From first doctor, they send you to the second one, and this is just happening so quickly. I don't know, maybe it was my disease that is a bit urgent, and it had to happen in such a rush. But for me, I had no time to process. There was nothing for me, no background, no explanation. I was just getting into the appointment, sit there and get this test done, do this, do that, and then I had to come home and do my studies and learn what I'm doing. So probably giving more background, trying to connect before each appointment, or some information to be sent in advance for the patient to prepare to read, or have a mindset of what she or he is expecting when she goes to the appointments, especially the first couple of appointments where you're scared, you have no idea what's happening. That would be good. Like, you have the appointment, they tell you, okay, this day you're here, you just go there and you have to get lots and lots of information on that room, and then they send you to the next room, okay, more information, and go home and come back tomorrow.
Apart from all of the distress you've been through and all of the vulnerable moments that you have been experiencing, but at some point, I guess, you had some moments that you felt lucky to have your doctors to be Persian, because someone has a really good understanding about your culture, about health condition of women from Iran, from that part of the world. Do you feel that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was I felt so lucky about that. The first day that I was told that this doctor you can go and see and things like that, I think everyone does the same thing. You just go and search the name and start to get information about it. And all the information I received was really positive from all the women that had gone through this process with the same doctor. And I was so happy that I can see someone that speaks same language as me, as you say, understands me, understands my background, and and is a good doctor. Like, everyone was saying highly about him. So but that's not the only doctor you see though. Like, the others are not Iranian. So as an example, I can tell you that I have to, my oncologist is not Iranian, but I felt like I need to speak to some Iranian about it. So my sister did some research, and she found an Iranian professor that is also an oncologist. So I booked an appointment just to go and talk to him and make sure that everything is in order. Because I was trusting my own oncologist a lot, because, she's also very good and famous, but I felt like I need to speak to an Iranian about it in Farsi and in my own language, make sure everything is in order. And when he said, no, good, you're in good hands, I felt happy, and I continued.
I guess it was not about the trust in the expertise of that doctors.
No.
It was about trusting that you have a good understanding about what's being transferred as of the information between you as a patient and them.
It's totally different when you hear everything in the words that's, you grow up with them. Like, you just make sure that you have got everything correctly. Nothing is missing in this communication between yourself and your doctor, and then you feel more comfortable to continue.
This doesn't necessarily happen to everyone. And I believe this is a very, very rare that you can find the right doctor speaking within your mother language, let's say, and being the same doctor that you need to trust and you need to be treated with. And we are not talking about retail space. We are talking about health space. We're talking about those moments people need help to overcome their health condition. I wanted to come back to the visual aspect of communication in health. Once you're finished with your doctor, you go home and sit down and start doing your research. Have you ever watched any type of video that it's related to the concerns and what were they?
Oh my God, YouTube was my best friend the whole time. And to be honest with you, what helped me a lot was watching patients talking about their experience and the whole, the ones that, same thing, like someone that has gone through the process was sitting there and telling to me that what she's gone through, what the steps she's taken, how she was looking before, how she's looking now, how she felt before, how she's feeling now. And at some points I was crying, at some points I was just trying to get information, but I watched lots, I didn't miss not even one video about breast cancer on YouTube. I watched all of them from around the world. And in it's interesting that now that I talk about it, I remember a lot of those videos are produced in America. They're not in Australia, and you feel after I went through chemotherapy, I realized, okay, they have different things in there that we don't have here, or on the last day of their chemo, they just press there's a bell that they go there and take photos and things like that. There's no such a thing in here. So there are some differences as well. But it was very helpful. At the time of watching them, I was crying. I was just getting all those information. I was just trying to understand what they've gone through and what I am about to go through. But after watching them, I felt a lot better. I was like, they've done it, I can do it. They've gone through it, and I can go through it. So it helped me a lot. When you go and sit in your appointments, they tell you next step. They don't go to the end, and you are always worried what's going to happen to me, And that patient's story takes you through the whole thing. There might be differences, of course, but at least you kind of have an idea. The same thing that I'm saying, if you need more information in advance, I was getting those information through these videos by watching them. Okay, when I'm getting told that you need to do that test, for example, I see, okay, this patient also has done it, and she's okay, you need to do it one more time, at the end. Now you're expecting to do this again one more time, maybe. So it kind of makes you feel more comfortable, when you get told, okay, because it's not easy. I didn't like that test at all. But now I know, okay, I might need to do it again, and I'm ready for it. But if I don't know, and they tell you suddenly, oh, you have to do it, you may kind of feel sad or, unhappy about it. But now you're expecting it, it makes it easy. So kind of, it wasn't just about seeing the differences, it's also very informative for a patient in the middle of a big word with lots of information and unclarities about future.
Any other type of video that you have watched during your treatment, apart from the patient stories?
I watched some videos from doctors, obviously, as well, a step by step, when I was after my chemotherapy treatment, now I was getting into the surgery. So I had to get more information about what's going after surgery and what options I have. So my doctor has given me the options, but I was kind of like, you trust your doctor, obviously, and you're like, okay, these are your options, but I suggest you need to do this. So you're okay. All right, I trust you. I'm sure that you are giving me the best option. But you come home and you're like, okay, I need more information. I know I was told these options, but what are they? So I kind of came home and started watching the videos from different doctors from around the world, watching videos about, what's the breast reconstruction, what happens, like what patients say about like the people who has done it, people who don't do it. I watched lots of videos, I read about it, and I decided to trust my doctor and go with what he suggested at the end. And I'm happy about the decision that I made, but that bit, to be honest, it was a bit confusing for me to make a decision on what I need to do. So I ended up getting lots of different, because I felt some of the videos were more like business videos, like, trying to, sell the product, or, I wasn't sure if they're trustworthy or not.
But would you say when you get confused by different sorts of videos from different countries, and you found some of them were technically designed to sell the product, not necessarily giving you the right information to help you have a better understanding about the next step along the way within your treatment sessions?
The first step, they're like kind of health related and medication and the process that I don't have a say on it, and you just need to go with they say. You can take a second opinion if you want, but more information always is good. But I don't think there are lots of information to be
reliable.
Yes. So my doctor, he did a great job. He provided all the options, but of course, everyone, like, as you say, they have lots of patients that they need to attend, so they can't really spend too much time for each individual person to explain everything thoroughly. So they give you a snapshot, and you have to go and do your research yourself. So maybe they, I don't know, like beforehand, afterward, extra, like maybe written, or there are some brochures, as I said, but they're not great, they're not the best, but very helpful. It was patient stories that I watched, and I talked to a couple of them as well. Like, I was introduced to a very nice lady that was going through the same process right before me, and I spoke to her a lot, and she was really nice and gave me lots of information. She was one step before me, so she knew what I'm going through and what's next. So I got a lot of information from her. So yes, those were my sources after seeing my doctor.
There is a personal question for me, and I guess, no, it's not that personal. It's not about me, honestly. If you want to say something to someone, someone who might watch this video, is there anyone you wanted to say something to?
I'm not gonna say a name, obviously, and I don't even know her name, but yes, I would say to her, that's good if you understand what a patient is going through, and one smile will make a difference. It's hard, people are going through very difficult situation, and they, like, I myself would like to see someone support, like people support around me, even if like they're totally unrelated, they're busy, they're like, they have lots of patient waiting and things like that. But me as a person would like to see that they understand how I feel, and not to just don't push things, or don't it's hard to say in English. their smiles while you're waiting and while you're expecting to do something will make a massive difference. You want them to understand you. I know it's hard. They're not going through, they might have never like felt the same thing, but you know, it makes a difference for the person waiting to go through like a test or a process, and we don't want to be like someone that is coming and going. The reason I'm saying is this because like I have been to like lots of tests, as I mentioned before, and then I go and I'm sad and I've cried in the car, and then I came out of the car, I sit there and I'm waiting to get my test done, and the person behind the counter is just so negative and so, you know, impatient with you, and they just treat you like, okay, go and sit, and you know, they don't care what you're going through, and that hurts. That was the worst experience that I had during this process. So kind of like not understanding me, like I'm sad, I'm not myself. So I want them to be more patient with me, even if I don't understand what they say, if I'm doing things wrong. But I had a couple of experiences. It hasn't been too many, of course. I was lucky. I was one of the luckiest being here in Australia. But I had a couple of experiences like that.
And how about the best ones? How about the good ones?
Oh, the best ones. Like I was sitting in getting chemo, one of the worst ones. And the nurse comes and say, oh my God, I love your dress. And like, you know, and we start talking about the dress for 10-15 minutes, and I totally forget about what's happening here. And that was beautiful. Like every time I see her, like I can't stop smiling. It was like a very beautiful moment for me. She just distracted me, seeing me how sad I am, with just a very tiny conversation about like what you're wearing. She changed everything. So that was one of the best bits. And most of the people, honestly, were really nice and supportive and helpful. I had like tiny bad experiences as well with people.
I feel I'm really lucky that I had a chance to sit next to the people and hearing their voices, hearing their story firsthand, uncut. I have heard a lot of patient stories, and I have created a lot of content around patients. In many cases, I'm not usually in front of camera. I'm most of the time behind the camera. And seeing them through the viewfinder, uncut, without any distraction, only hearing them through headphone, that's the most rewarding part of what I do. That's something that I can't change it with anything. If you have anything, any word about anyone, feel free. There is no any rules, regulation, obligation can stop you saying that.
Yeah. So yes, you probably know we spoke before as well. Like the first, on very first days, I decided to share my story with my friends. So we created a group, and I had all my friends in the group, and they supported me along the way. We even had a roster of like which day who's coming with me to each session, and they cooked meals and they brought for me, and like they took me out for walks the days that I was feeling like I don't want to move out of house. So they forced me to, you know, to leave and enjoy and continue, and like their support was like unbelievable. And like I just cannot say thank you. Like it's not enough to say thank you to all of them. But one person in particular, which probably you also know, Munira, is like, it's just, she's always there. Like she is just, she always, like, you don't really need to think, and she has thought about everything before you. She prepares everything, like she plans everything behind the scene. Like for someone like me that I wasn't able to decide for myself or think for myself those days, she was the first person to prepared everything in advance. Like she managed, like you do this, you get that. Masi, you need this. Masi, you need that. So Manira, thank you, and I love you so much.
And anybody within the health system that...
Oh, my doctor, he's amazing. He is just, all the good things I read about him was real. He was very supportive all the way. He gave me lots of information. He gave me the chance to go and make a decision. And all the decisions he made for me, they were the best decisions. And I just, I'm so happy that I ended up with my doctor, and now I'm here. And I still have lots to do. It's not finished yet, but yes, I'm so grateful as well.
Anything else you want to say?
I just need to say that I'm happy if I can help even one person and be part of this amazing project. I know it's not easy for you. It's pretty difficult, but it's gonna be amazing. And even even if this conversation helps one person, I'm the most grateful, and I thank you for having me here. I wish all the best for you and for your project.
Thank you. And من همینجا خاموشش میکنم. آخرشم به فارسی گفتم. I'm finishing it right here.